Hey, welcome to SOFREP Radio. I am your host, Rad, and I have a special guest today, former Special Operation Combat Controller of the United States Air Force, Connor the Controller Matthews. And I say Matthews twice because that's a professional ring announcer's way that they introduce you into the ring in boxing. And Connor, welcome to the show.
How you doing, man? It's nice seeing you. I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't seen you since 2016, I believe, when we did that SOFREP boxing event in London. Hey, man, pleasure seeing you. How's it going, brother?
Yeah. Oh, it's great, Connor. I'm happy to have you here. I was just talking with someone about you on another episode, Mike LaMonica, who's from the Special Operations, your same Special Operations community. Have you ever crossed paths with Mike before?
I don't think we ever crossed paths.
Former combat controller.
Yeah, I don't think we ever crossed paths in person, but I know him. I've talked to him actually recently. I just talked to him recently. Like yesterday, he's the head of the Combat Control Association, I believe. And we've been talking, been communicating a lot lately. And but I knew who he was. It's a name that you hear about in the career field.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's got lots of ribbons. He's a really nice guy to talk to, just like yourself. Hey, I know I've talked to you in the past, but let me ask you something. Do you have any specific ribbons that you're really proud of achieving on your rack of ribbons that you wear?
Probably my I got a combination medal when I was deployed to Afghanistan for a mission that I did. That was pretty cool. That I did a lot of air traffic control, and I did a lot of we got a medevac out of there. We did a lot of stuff like that. That's about it. Combat, I got a combat ribbon because I saw combat in Afghanistan, so that was pretty cool, but not too much. I mean, my friends have so many more ribbons than me. I did one deployment to Afghanistan, and which I'm grateful I got to do something. I got lucky, but at the same time, not comparatively to a lot of my friends. But you know what I mean? My friends just did a lot of amazing, really badass stuff. Multiple.
There's probably some silver stars out there.
Yeah, so many friends with silver stars, purple hearts, and all this stuff. And so yeah, not too much, but I got to get out there.
Right, and I'm sure that you've lost some friends along the way. You have a very, high speed job, and it is Memorial Day weekend for those of you listening.
Right, so talk about that. It's it's crazy because I remember when I was going through selection and training, we got done with the combat control school, and the commandant says, he's like, look around you. You guys would probably lose one or two of these friends that are here with you, and we did lose guys that were in training, and it's either in training or I lost a friend in combat, I lost a friend in training, and I lost a friend to an accident. So it's wild that I remember after that, my mom was all like, that sounds like, she's all scared. That sounds, but it didn't happen. So, you know what I mean? This job is it's a very dangerous, that job was not this job, but my last job was a very, very dangerous life where people's lives are at risk. Not only in deployments, but on training to deploy. And, I lost a lot of good friends, saw a lot of people, even before me in my career field. We lost a lot while I was in there. I think 6 members while I was in, you know what I mean? And it's a small knit, it's a close knit community. So everybody knows somebody, everybody knows each other. So, yeah, that's definitely something. Rest in peace to all those people.
Only about there's only about rest in peace to them. Yeah. There's only about 300 combat controllers, right?
I think we're a little bit more than that now, 5. I think when I was going through, remember 500 was the number we would hear, but I think it's probably up to 600, 700 now, 800 maybe. But yeah, that's not a lot of people when you really get down to it. You know what I mean? When it comes to guys who are actually on team compared to guys who are instructors, guys that are administrative, that breaks up real fast, and you really have a core group of guys that are deployable, and everybody knows everybody. That's just the way it is.
Right, and that's why I'm going to segue into what I'm wearing right now, which is your MMA mixed martial arts shirt right here, Connor the Controller Matthews. I'm just so excited to say it because I know you, and I got to wear your shirt. I'm here in Utah. You're in Massachusetts. We've traveled to London together, and I'm super proud to be at your corner and just cheer you on and use SOFREP to perpetuate that out there, bro. I want the person that you're going to fight to know that you're ready and you're in my corner. I'm ready. I'm so stoked for you.
I appreciate
Tell me about it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, man. SOFREP's been great. Ever since that whole boxing thing, I was just saying, earlier, you guys actually came up with my nickname, the Controller MMA. I don't know if people really know that. When I was in London, I did that boxing fight. I got there and I saw they had the flyer or whatever it is for the fight, and they had me as
the big yellow poster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it says Connor the Controller MMA. Connor the Controller Matthews, and I was like, that is an awesome nickname. And yeah, I went home, and when I started fighting professional, I started one with the controller, and I really think it's cool. It worked out great. So thank you, SOFREP, for coming up with that name for me. And it's awesome.
Well, it's well earned, and you earned that name. Now you're also 5-0 in your professional fight. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'm 5-0. So I have five wins, all first round finishes right now. It's been actually, I feel like I should have a lot more fights than I have right now. The pandemic really put through a wrench and everything. I've been having problems with getting fights. Like I have a fight scheduled, and like a week before a certain my opponent gets hurt, or whatever reason they pulled out of the fight. So I have too many fights, and then I got to get these guys to fill in that weren't as good as my original opponent. So that the UFC wants to see me fighting good guys. So that's been a problem of mine. Is like I want to get to the next level and fight good guys. And eventually, I got my Contender Series shot fighting on the Contender Series. So I'm really, really super excited about this. Like I know somebody's going to show up to fight me on the Contender Series. I know it's not going to fall out last minute. And
oh yeah, it's a fight.
I'm fighting in front of Dana White, and if I get my big knockout, which that's my style, I knock people out. I hope I'm going to get that contract, man.
Bro, like your one fight that was like a 7 or 17-second knockout in the first round. There was like a little swing kick to the leg. Yeah, a little kick to the leg, and he pulled away from you. You're just like testing each other, and next thing you know, bam, dude, and he's down, bro.
Yeah, that was my first professional MMA fight. I had a 7-second knockout. Yeah, he caught me the leg kick, kind of threw me off balance for a second, and then I think he saw me off balance, so he thought that he was just going to be able to step in, hit me with hands, and I caught myself, step back, hit him with the right hand, put him down. So yeah, that was a good one. I'll take those you get them. You know what I mean? Not too much damage, or I didn't take any damage, but any fights like that where you don't take damage,
7 seconds.
It's not a bad fight. Yeah, take those.
Exactly. So being in the combat controller lifestyle and being so trained up like a extreme athlete that you are just for that job, right? Let alone fast roping out of helicopters, probably HALO. You're probably jumping out of airplanes, HALO, free fall, like we see from 30,000 feet. Are you wearing oxygen masks when you do that and stuff?
I believe everything above 13,000 feet you have to wear oxygen for. So I have done quite a few of those. My team that I was on we were training up to be like a jump style team at one point. So we did a lot of jump schools and HAHO and all that stuff. So yeah, I got to do all that stuff.
HAHO is what's HAHO? High altitude, high opening?
Yeah, high altitude, high opening. So that's probably if you were ever gonna actually use this stuff in real life, and we're gonna do a mission use higher likely chance you're gonna use a HAHO instead of a HALO. You know what I mean? So HAHO gives the ability to the team to jump out. You're not gonna spread out. So if a plane's flying and they're skydiving, you're just going to spread out all the people. You're going to want everybody to jump close, open up, find each other. Then you can land down at a location, depending on how far you have to go, all together as a team.
Maybe
so that's what
30 miles away, huh? You might be able to you're just traveling kind of like, so you have to know airspeed, currents, you're basically now piloting.
Yeah. It's basically everything you need to know to fly a plane, except you don't have all the instruments. I mean, you usually have a guy who's like the navigator, but everybody needs to be kind of like a navigator and when you're doing it. HALO jump.
Right.
And, it's cold as hell up there. It's not. It doesn't even matter if you're in the middle of the summer in the desert. It's cold. You know what I mean? I remember a couple of my first time or a couple first times I was doing it. I had like small gloves on because I'm so used to HALO, where you can jump up from that altitude and you land down and you're fine because you're up in the cold for not that long. But you do a HAHO and you're sitting up there. My hands, I got down to the ground. My hands were so cold, like I couldn't even take off my parachute. So yeah, it's fun, man. It's good. It's good stuff.
Just so cold.
Yeah,
that's so crazy. That's so cool. So they would drop you out, and then you would just pop open pretty quick, and then you guys just sailed into whatever target that you're supposed to drop zone on. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an art to it because not everybody goes down at the same the same speed. So somebody who's heavier is always is gonna be faster than somebody who's lighter. So there's a lot of flying your parachute on the way down to keep everybody together. making S turns so people don't spread
Now,
out. You don't want to be too close where you're bumping into
do you
people.
wear night vision?
There's a lot to it. It's kind of a cool mission set, you know what I mean? Just to get to being able to jump out. And that's like really a lot of teamwork, you know what I mean? It's like jumping out of the plane, working together to make sure we land together. Because you know, if you're in a real life mission, you jump out, you lose a guy. Now the mission's totally different. You're not going to go out there to accomplish mission you actually went out to do. Your next mission is how do we get our guy back? So it's a really high risk situation. So it's pretty cool doing all that kind of training.
Recovery.
Yeah.
So you do night jumps? Is that a normal thing for you guys? Is night jumps?
Yeah, I think we only like besides just training to kind of you're not going to jump into anywhere during the day. So everything we did was night. Once we got MVGs.
So are you wearing the highest night vision? Yeah, night vision goggles, MVGs. That's what I'm asking. Is like, you wearing those while you're jumping?
Yeah, when we were training, we used PBS 31s. I don't know what they use nowadays. I bet you they have some. It seems like coming out new shit all the time. So we had 31s, which are quite phosphorus. They were smaller. They were nice. But it's I mean, yeah. I had to do a lot of jumps before, and I think the rules have changed now. Like we weren't allowed to jump with MVGs initially, so you did all your training jumps with no MVGs, jumping pitch black at night in the middle of the desert. Right. Nobody has MVGs. Only thing people have on are little chem lights and glow sticks. So when you open up your parachute, all you see is like chem lights flying around the sky. It's terrifying, and you don't want to get a ding on stuff. But once we got on team, we got trained up on the MVGs because when you're jumping with MVGs, you don't want to it's a high risk of getting your parachute entangled. So when you're falling, your parachute opens up, you can swing over the front of your MVG and pull up your helmet and get entangled, and you get a malfunction, and that's terrible. So there's a lot of like stuff you have to do to make sure that doesn't happen, staying stable, blocking your MVGs, and then pulling your parachute. And so there's like we had to get trained up to that before we went out and go do it. So it was cool. Once you get MVGs, though, it's so much better. Now it's just like jumping at dead. You know what I mean? You can see everybody around.
Could you imagine the guy writing the manual?
What's that?
The guy that wrote the manual for put your arm in front of your MVGs just in case. That guy. You know, he's like, Bill said he should put his arm up because he got tangled. That's amazing. Just there's so much going on inside your mind. You're such a high-speed athlete. So you're trained up, you're coiled up, you're really proficient at swimming, and some of your background, you grew up like on the coast or surfing, right?
Yeah, I live I'm less than a mile away from the water, so ocean and being in the ocean around the ocean has always been like a big part of my lifestyle. Surfing, I love surfing,
and that's a huge part of combat controller is the water, right? And the water portion, and how did you train up? Tell the high school kid listening right now who wants to do a combat controller, wants to be the next Connor Matthews.
Yep.
What should he prepare for?
All right, so never mind. You have to be already. You have to be a runner. You have to be an athlete. You have to be very good at running, not just like okay. You have to be a good runner. Now things have changed since I've gone through. You have to be a good runner. So you got that first. I was an MMA fighter, so I was always a cardio athlete and a hockey player, so that was fine. Like I said, I was really comfortable in the ocean, getting thrashed around because I just was surfed my entire life when I was a kid. So, I've had big surf days when you go out there and you're like kind of scared and you're just getting comfortable and getting thrashed around, getting held under. I've had that happen to me, so that was okay. But that long distance swimming, that was not my thing. I'm kind of a bowling ball. That's what they used to call me in the thing. So I'm 5'8". I'm not as tall as people think I am. Sometimes I'm 5'8". I'm short. And I just kind of, I'm not the greatest swimmer. So what I did is I hired a high school swim coach so I'd go in there twice a week and she would help me with my technique of swimming, and I helped out a ton. It took minutes off my time. You know what I mean? And I think this with everything is like whenever you're gonna learn something, people are just gonna try to figure it out and about 30 days. Now you should probably just get to talk to somebody who knows what they're doing and pick up what you can get, from that and to make your life a little bit easier. So that's what I did. I hired a swim coach. And she helped me out a ton, took minutes off my time. And then I was saying, once I got to the pipeline, I had to pass my test. But once you pass your test, you got fins after that. And you give me fins and I'm fine. I can swim. I was just kicking. I was a hockey player, strong legs. Just
all day.
So, but yeah, I had to do that. I'm not the greatest swimmer, but, I just got enough, got that far, got that down. And, and that's all that matters. I'm comfortable. I could be in the water all day. So.
Yeah, and you're a Massachusetts kid, right? You grew up Massachusetts is your place, right?
Yep, South Coast Mass and Rhode Island, between those two places. Mostly Mass, but like I went to school and everything in Massachusetts. But Rhode Island, spent my grandparents in Rhode Island, which is a big right on in Newport, Rhode Island. They have like a lot of waves, a good beach town. So that's where I really did a lot of my surfing growing up. So yeah, Massachusetts, South Coast. We
want to give them a shout out, dude.
You like that?
We want Massachusetts in your corner. We want Massachusetts in your corner, bro.
Oh,
That's why you're the son of Massachusetts. Look at that. All day on him, right there on that bicep, bro.
18 years old, yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. See? So that's what I'm saying. There's something about you back east guys that have just this like no nonsense, like, you know, I've handled some hard climate or something, and you guys are fighters, bro. You can take it to the streets and to the mat. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with that. And I just like, there's so many like fighters from New England and Massachusetts specifically that are like known for like just having hearts of lions and like wars. Like if you look at Calvin Kattar, you look at Rob Font, you look at Joe Lozon, the UFC fighters that I know, Kyle Bachniak, all these guys are known for like just being gritty. Like they're just technical fighters, but they're like, you know, like when shit gets bad, they just bite down the mouthpiece and they put on wars and they don't give up and they don't quit. Right. I don't know. I think it's the cold. I think it's just we're miserable all the time, so we're used to that shit. So we just keep pushing through it. You gotta really want it to be a fucking fighter in Massachusetts because it's sucky. It's cold. It's cold.
It's so true. You know, that's funny you say that because I'm thinking of the movie Rocky, right? And he trains in the snow to be hardcore with logs on his shoulders, and he's just like trudging through the snow, and that's Rocky, bro. So yeah. I look at you. I want you to be that, dude. I want MMA Chris Matthews statues in Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying?
There's one up in the North End. It's funny. There's a boxing in North End of Boston. There's a boxing statue of a guy. So yeah, hey, that's the thing. Back in the day too, they call like the city of Brockton around there, City of Champions. We just have that kind of people around there. So it's pretty cool. I like it. Philadelphia is one of those cities. You know what I mean? They're very similar to that. So.
Now, when you joined the Air Force after high school, you're a pretty determined individual. You're doing martial arts. You're pretty straight-laced. You're not doing anything that's going to keep you from passing any piss test or anything like that. So you're focused. What was it that made you go combat controller? Was it a friend, or did you just say, "Hey, this is a job that I wanted," or were you going to be a crew chief and you got pulled in through basic?
I actually wanted to be a Navy SEAL. That's the only job. Like I said, like nobody knows a combat controller. Everybody knows a Navy SEAL, me including. I was a kid. I was like, that looks badass. So
yeah, same.
I started, thinking about that, and then when I went to the Navy recruiter, he was like, he did not like want to put me in as a SEAL. He's like, you got to go do this, and he just kept on saying like, we got this other job for you. So once you get it, you can do this job, then you can cross train to be a SEAL. And I'm like, and I don't think about it. So I went across the hall, talked to the Air Force recruiter. This guy John Morris, great guy. He still talk to him today. So he's like, "Hey man, I got this. He's like, I have this job, PJ. They're pushing pararescue." I was like, "All right, I'll look into that. It looks cool. It looks like they do a lot of the same things Navy SEALs do. I started jumping. I started, I started diving. I started all that. And I was like, medical sounds pretty cool. So I started training for that job. And then when they had the pass test. There's a couple guys that I took it with, and they were supposed to have slots to go before me for combat control. So I passed it. I did really, really good on the test. The kid in front of me didn't do as well. So like a slot opened up, and then so that was like, all right, so I can kind of get to go sooner then. And then the guy goes to me, he goes, "Hey man, do you want to save people or do you want to kill people?" This is a combat controller that was there that was administrating the test, and I was like, I guess I want to kill people. And he's just like, "All right, putting you as a CCT." And I was like, all right, I had no idea, no idea what a combat controller did. I got home, looked it up a little bit, and I was like, all right, they died, they jumped. I don't know what air traffic control was. I had no idea at this point. Like high school kid, graduated high school, worried about fighting, and it's like I didn't know what the ATC towers were at an airport. But so I got in there, and I ended up taking the job, and I'm so happy I did because it was the coolest job, coolest community. Got to do a lot of things that a lot of people that have in military don't get the opportunity to do, and happy I did it.
on the government, dime. It's almost a little bit of a fun trip for you because you
yeah.
probably like to work out. You don't mind running.
Yep.
Let me ask you about the swimming, though. I'm obsessed with that because I'm not the strongest swimmer, although if I have fins, so I do laps at my local pool, but fins help me tons.
Yep.
So do you have to dive underwater the full length of the pool back and forth on one breath? Is that a thing you had to achieve?
Yeah, that's a 50 meter underwater. That was one of the
wow.
to pass through. You don't have that for us. We didn't have to do it initially to get into the job, like I think some people do. We just had to do 25 meters, a couple of 25 meters to get in. But you should be able to do 50s because once you get down to NDOC and you get down to for selection and all that kind of stuff, I mean, you're doing stuff that's a lot harder than one back and forth. You're getting drown proofed. You're getting especially so it's like that's like the minimum standard for a lot of the past tests to get into the job. Like you should be able to do that's like not even you're gonna do that in your worst day. Like that's easy. It's the training and maybe they can't eliminate you for popping into other things, but you're not gonna make it eventually. I feel like so yeah. We had to do one of our standards to go to dive school is to do a 50 meter underwater, which initially I remember 25 being like, all right, that's kind of hard. So
I mean, my dad growing up, being the son of a Green Beret, we'd go up to Hill Air Force Base and he would do his laps all day long, but he'd take us kids to the pool, me and my brother. And there was these weights and he'd reach down on the side of the pool. He's like, okay, Aaron, put your blindfold on, but first watch where these weights go. And he'd throw them off the edge down into like the 5-6 foot area for me.
Yeah.
But he'd throw them off into the 12 foot for my brother who was older. My brother was really good at going down 12 feet blindfolded and finding those damn weights. But here's me like trying to get in the 5 foot water. And I'm just, it's just it's tough water. So you need to be water ready, almost probably drown proof before you join. And like you said, get a coach. You got a lady that was a high school coach. Do you remember her name? You want to give her a shout out? Because you're going to be the best MMA fighter in the world.
I remember her name off the top of my head, and I can't right now, but I should give her a shout out.
She'll remember you.
I have talked to her since.
She'll be like, oh.
I have talked to her since a couple times. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I have talked to her a couple times after the time. Like,
if only she knew.
Honestly, she helped me in my life. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's crazy. Somebody like that as a high school. It's like, if I didn't get good at swimming because of her, I never would have made it to be a combat controller. And then I probably would never came back to fighting the way I did. So it's just like crazy. These little people that you connected and bumped into that like project your life in a certain way. And you never know that's happening when it's happening, but you like look back to that person and be like, wow, if I didn't write into that person. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I was just saying.
It's incredible. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a couple people out there that really helped me out. Like my sensei when I was a kid, like just his mentality. Like I swear to God, before I even went into special operations, we did belt tests growing up as a kid. His name's Sensei John Miranda, and we did belt tests. And our belt test was like a hell day for selection. So it's like I was like already doing I didn't really look at it like that when I was a kid, but like when we were covering PVC guys, we're doing hill sprints. He gave me my black belt this year, and I had to take another test from him. And I was doing the test. I'm like some of this stuff's kind of harder than some of the stuff I was doing in the military at one point. Like he crushes us with like physical stuff, and then he makes us fight in the sand on the beach with each other. He did this, so he took a sand hill. He lined up a whole bunch of people from the gym. And I started at the bottom, and I had to fight my way through every single person to get to the top. And I had to do that. I'm like, that's hard. You know what I mean? Like even
that's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, it was pretty cool. Like he tried to train my brain before I even got into the military to do that stuff. So.
And you had to engage each person, right? You couldn't like skirt them and do a little shuffle.
No,
you had to engage each person.
I had to take it. I think he made it especially hard for me. You know what I mean? For everything that I've been doing. And then, so I had to do that test, all right, all day test. So you wake up, I think you get there like 7, all day test until like 2 or something, 2 or 3. And, we're doing a ton. He basically destroys every muscle in the body, like a possible way he can. And then he brings you to a beach. You do all these beach workouts, fighting people on the beach, crying, and then I was exhausted. Then at night, I had to spar Rob Font to get him ready. So Rob Font's number 4 or 5 in the world at the 135 division. And I had to go fight him. So, and the UFC cameras were there watching, filming for his thing. I was like, I got to do good. I mean, they still showed every video of me possibly getting punched in the face by Rob Font. So it's funny, but it was cool. I was like, I was smoked, and I was like, I still got to go do this too. So it was a really good, and that's when I got my black belt that day, so it was a pretty cool day for me.
So do you think that with going through all of that and going through your combat training and being drown proof has brought you to this no tap out lifestyle where you're going to get in the ring and you're going to give it everything until, there's only one way out for you, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the career field just hard, like you said, the drown proofing, the hard, like I was talking about with just even jiu-jitsu, like if I'm wrestling and grappling with somebody who's way bigger than me, because sometimes you get stuck in these positions where you want to like panic and freak out, and you know what I mean, you want to get, but like I've just been in those stressful situations so much and know how to like be, remain calm, like be comfortable being comfortable. It sounds corny, but like, you know what I mean, like be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's true though. It's like that. I think that's my biggest like superpower I have in fighting right now. And like everybody right now thinks I just finished people in 1 minute, and what's he gonna do when he goes past 1 minute? Where's he at? I'm like, no man, I'm trained for like the long haul. Like when shit gets hard, that's when I actually perform better. I think like long rucks and all this stuff I did that was just painful. I used to do really well in anything that was like a grindy kind of exercise is like that's where I rise up. So I think that being a combat controller and all that is what 100% what got me mentally as tough as I am, and that's why I got where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say there's not going to be another, opponent that's training as hard as you equally, which is what I want anyone that's listening right now, if they're going to do their reach on you and hear that you're ready, bro. Like, they're better come with their game to you because you're coming with yours.
1,000%. And so like I took 6 years off, you know what I mean, from training as a martial artist, making that my thing. But before, I've been training martial arts since I was like 4. You know what I mean? So I have a lot of that time, like, just as a kid, getting comfortable in that. Took the 6 years off, where usually people are fighting in their in that period between their 22. I think I was 21 and 27. 21 and 27 is when I was in the military, and people are usually, that's the hardest time to fight. So they take a lot of damage. Luckily for me, I took no damage, but I still trained like an athlete from special operations. I was still working out with coaches. I was still doing, you know what I mean? I still kept my body together during that time and really training that, but I didn't fight. So now I'm kind of coming into this mature level where I'm turning 30 this week, actually. I have a birthday party today, but I'm turning 30 this week, and I'm more mature.
Right, happy birthday.
Thank you, man. And I have like all of that, mentality and everything. As I'm just really coming into my prime with a fresh body. You know what I mean? And I don't have a wear and tear on me. I'm really coming into my prime, and I feel like it's just like I got a big edge on everybody. So I think it's gonna be a fast rise for me, honestly, and in the UFC fight.
And you're getting ready to do this fight night, right? As I wear your shirt right here, with you throwing your punch. This is a great art rendition of you, by the way. I think that you should have
shout out
props to the person that designed this.
Shout out to my
your uncle for sure.
He sent me that.
Yeah, exactly.
He designed it. He's like computer design and graphic design. He designed it, sent it over, and he's like, "Hey, you like this?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm making shirts of that right away. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Lucked out, man."
And also, you have a shop, right? I want to pitch it because the money helps you go to the fights and to like get your tickets and to get travel. What's your shop? What is the shop? The Controller MMA? Tell me.
Yeah, so controllermma.com. So there's no "the," but it's just controllermma.com. I got a website. Go in there and check out I got bios about me, but I also have my shirts on there. I got 4 different shirts out right now. We always try to get the best quality for I'm a big believer in and I think I got this from the military and special operations, stuff like that. Just buy good quality stuff because it's going to be worth
so much.
Anywhere. You buy something cheap and try to screw somebody over, even if it's cost more money, always buy the best stuff you possibly
It's worth it. It's always so worth it.
I hate buying
when we went over to Remembrance Rumble in London, when we went to London, Brandon Webb had SOFREP make a bunch of shirts for us. And I was like, oh, these are so soft and so comfortable, those SOFREP shirts. I had my own shirts made out of the same shirts. I was like, I'll be damned. And this is that same soft, next level style shirt. I'm not gonna sit here and fanboy over it, but
no,
I'm wearing it. I slept in it already.
Exactly. Stay Zero sent me this shirt. It's the same thing. So it's like when I went to the same thing when we used to go to like shooting schools all the time when I was in the military. We go welded, and usually at the end of the school, you get a shirt from like the school we just went to, and all the guys always had like these nice shirts, and I was like, you wear them all the time because I'm like, it's just comfortable for me to work out, so I'm gonna wear this shirt, and then it's like, it's good for me to get my name, get everything out there, So I've been lucky. It's pretty cool.
Only special request for Rad is if you make special shirts for us bearded folks, maybe a little lower on the print so we don't block it. But listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to wear this over to London. I'm going to go see Big Phil, dude.
Yeah, I need to get a shirt with Big Phil out there. But I agree. We need to lower the thing on the next. That's going to happen in the next year. We had that discussion.
Oh yeah, because that we're sending them over for SOFREP.
Bearded shirts, but just really like for
just
people with
a little lower. Yes, yeah, we exist. I swear. And again, I'm going to take this. I'm going over to London with my wife to show her the sites. Like we got to go see with SOFREP when we did those Remembrance Rumbles, which I think those guys are going to do another one. So you might want to keep your ear to the ground and come in and still maybe do a little 1-2-1-2 dance if you can.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm down to do it. We'll see if the UFC will be happy about me doing another fight outside the UFC. But if I can, and if anything, I would love to go there and just be a guest or a commentator. Maybe hop in the booth with you or something like that.
Oh, so, that'd be great, dude. We could do back to back, bro. We could be like, did I just say that? You'll be like, yes, Rad, you did.
That would be real fun. I'd love to do something like that. I'm doing actually commentating for a local promotion that I grew up fighting in, Cage Titans, which is around here. And I'm commentating this weekend. I'm cornering a guy in my fight, and then I'm hopping in the booth and I'm commentating the fight. So it's pretty cool. I like to do that.
Do you know the guy's name? You want to give me?
What's that?
My fighter. Shout out.
Yeah, my fighter, Andrew Valdina, good up-and-coming fighter. He's coming up. He's come a long way in the last year. I've been coaching him for his striking, so it's kind of cool. Now I'm doing that as well. I opened up a new gym, the Controller Proving Grounds.
Yeah, I saw that.
So now I'm kind of like getting like my girlfriend's a fighter, and this kid Andrew Valdina is a good fighter, and I'm like working with them, and it's been pretty cool. It's like this is always, I said this the other day. It's always been my dream to own a martial arts gym and be a professional MMA fighter. So, and I want to be in the UFC, but like,
and have a girlfriend
I got my gym open now. Yeah, I got my gym open now. And now my next goal is to get in the UFC. And if I accomplish both those things, it's like, I looked at an interview from when I was 18, and that's what I said in the interview. And I was like, shit, this is actually coming true now. So, stick to things you love to do, and you'll get your dreams.
I believe in you, bro. I do. Hey, you have a Instagram too. It's the Controller MMA, right? On your Instagram.
Yep, Controller MMA. That's probably where I am the most active. So if anybody wants to hop on there, give me a follow. I post there a lot. I don't use Facebook too much. I don't know why. I think it's just as down. I'm a picture guy, so I like Instagram.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I use that the most.
I think you're probably good at so many things in combat controller. Pipeline. The toughest thing was what for you?
I would say the toughest thing for me was academics, and air traffic control schools specifically. I think that's where I had my biggest challenge. But once I got through that, I mean, everything else, like anything that was practical, like tactics, shooting. For some reason, dive school, I didn't have any academic. I thought dive school was easy. Probably air traffic control. The speaking and learning the language of being an air traffic controller was a little bit challenging for me at first. Like I said, I had no idea what air traffic controller was before I joined it. So when I hopped in, I had like a little learning curve. And then once I got it down, I knew I had to get good at it. Especially when I deployed. So I got it down really well and really good. And I used it when I was deployed. I used it a ton. So it was really cool to get that portion of the job.
Did you just uptrain on like a portable radar and just stare at a computer and be like Delta 357, you're clear? 3727.
We did have to do radar they don't have to do that anymore. So there's radar air traffic control,
okay.
Terminal air traffic control, which is like a tower. So they're two different styles of air traffic control. So
the big spinning thing is the tower.
Yeah, exactly. So we did terminal airspace control. So like a lot of times when we went to air traffic control school, we had to do this stuff where you're landing C-130s or landing planes on the airstrip and doing air traffic controls all around the airstrip. And when we deploy, that's a lot of time what we do. So that's that. But we did have like these what are they called? can't think of the words. Training simulators.
Simulations.
Yeah, we see simulators that we used to use in our units that were pretty cool, so we could hop in there and get work and practice. And then you had like an old time combat controller in there that was like, you know, teaching you techniques and stuff that you would use. So we can get trained up. Once you get on TV, you get really trained up and you get good at it before you go out there and do the job. So yeah, air traffic control is like.
Did you ever get the opportunity, like PJs go into like the ER to like work on people, you know, as they perfect their skill? Did you get to go to the air traffic controller airport and like do your thing with?
So yeah, so we actually when I was deployed, I did have like a scenario where we brought in somebody got shot on the battlefield, and then the PJs came, and then I was with the PJs. We flew in transload the helicopter where the guy got shot into a C-130. So I did all the air traffic control to get that going. So I actually was in the helicopter from where the guy got shot, brought him in, got up, brought a C-130 in to land, got the guy out of there. So I did get to do stuff like that. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's like what you trained for.
I get to use my job.
That's really cool.
PJs, and like that's how you said that would make sense for people, how like PJs and controllers can work together. There's a good scenario where like, you know, somebody's shot, we need to get this guy out of the air traffic controller. The combat controller jumps on the mic, gets all the air going, and the PJ's working the guy to get the guy out of there. So yeah, that did happen when I was deployed.
Well, you're the key to the team. You're the key to the team, because I think that you would jump on with like a SEAL team or a task force team or an A team or an ODA, a Green Beret operations attachment, and you're with all of those guys. You're there. Hey, how you doing, Connor? Can we have you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. To get on any team, you have to be a big asset to the team. You have to bring something to the fight that other people don't bring. We definitely are the, you know, when it comes to attaching team, being the radio guy. I mean, we're going to be the best. We're already air traffic controllers, so we know how to, you know, separate aircrafts. So if you got a combat controller and get them JTAC certified, which would be, I wasn't JTAC certified when I was deployed, because I got the opportunity to get with the team with the JTAC. So you know what I mean. If you're bringing in air, you know, if you're already good at air traffic control, you're going to be a good JTAC. You know what I mean, and you're going to be a big asset to the team, no matter with communications too. So combat controllers, like, a lot of our job is knowing radios and setting up the team's frequencies and making sure everybody's on the same page and doing the communication, so they, you know, we can talk inter team, and then we can be the guy who's talking to the aircraft. That's bringing in drones, you know, the eye in the sky, like ISR platforms for those guys who are, you know, bringing in ISR. We're talking to ISR aircraft first. We're talking to fast mover jets. We're talking to Apache helicopters, AC-130, AC-130s. A10, like on any given battle, and you know what I mean. There's so many different aircraft checking in and on from the fight, and so it's really important to have a combat controller there to separate this aircraft, especially if he's already.
I have a guy that does
makes sense. So,
like he does chaos. You ever hear that term, chaos?
Yeah.
A friend of mine here, he does chaos. He's a part of the chaos culture where they go out and handle all the air traffic control chaos. I don't know. Chaos. That's they're called. That's their name. Their squadron's name is Chaos. You know, so I can only imagine you need to listen to everybody flying over you.
Yeah, it can get chaotic, but you know what? A lot of these pilots are very good in the military too, so they help out a lot when you're over there and you talk to pilots and stuff like that. But yeah, it can get very chaotic, and you know, and there's a lot of money and lives on the line. So it's like you can't mess up. You know what I mean? You can't bring a plane in when there's a plane on the runway and you clear the lane and they crash into another plane and then you just kill a whole bunch of people. So it's like there's things like that happen. You know what I mean? So it's like it's very important. You know, it's high risk. Or you're dropping a bomb through where you have a helicopter in, and then F-15 or drops a bomb and there's a helicopter in the area. You know, there's a lot of things like separation that can really go wrong. So it's very important. You have some guys trained up to know to do it. Or dropping a bomb on your own guy. Like that stuff has. Yeah,
you don't need that.
So it's
So if you're getting the call to go in and seize an airfield, right, or create an airfield, or whatever that airfield needs to be, what would you do? Like if there's a team of 6 or 7 of you going in together to assess an airfield area, you know, you got to do like the grading. Tell me what's you? Yeah.
All right. So there's multiples like this. First of all, combat control, we're the jack of all trades. There's a lot of different mission sets that we can do. So we can do like say there's a salt lake bed out in the middle of the desert, and we want to do a mission that's to a compound or to something that's close to that salt lake bed, right? So what we can do there, we can go there ahead of time. We can land. We can, say we want to jump in, or any way we can get there to jump in. So we want to jump in, do a complete assessment of the airfield, find out, like, make sure the soil, the ground is all dense enough for an aircraft to come in, so it can bear the load to land and take off and sit on the ground. So we have to get out there, assess how long, is there enough room, is it not bumpy, is the soil good, is there any any hazards in the area, to make sure that's good. So we do all that, and then if it's good, okay, now we have to set up the airfields. We set up the airfields, so we have to know about dimensions of the aircraft, what aircraft can land on it. You know what I mean? Then we can do the air traffic control to actually bring the plane in, land the plane, and then we can go and do the mission. Sometimes, and then also if they say we take contact, and then we have to have we call in the air strikes. There's so many different things that we can do as a combat controller. Never mind just being the side. Probably the easier part, not easier, but one of the part of the job is just being on the team to call in the airstrikes is the most fun part of it. But there's a lot of other stuff that we do that's out there, making sure that the airfields are good. Just normal air traffic.
You're probably riding on 4-wheelers. You probably get cool dune buggies. You probably get access to GPS not on your finger. You probably have all sorts of crazy stuff that's just behind the scenes.
Yeah, just knowing. So a lot of times we make if they're on teams, attached to teams, we make the I can't think of the word right now. Wow, it's been too much. But anyways, we're tracking we're making all the GRGs. There we go. Making all the GRGs. So it's making all we're labeling everything, where the bombs are going to be dropped, and doing all that stuff ahead of time. And then vehicles, we get on the airfield, we need to know how to drive dirt bikes. We need to know how to drive 4-wheelers. We have ATV. We have to do all these, because when you cruise around an airfield, you're not walking. You're cruising. It's just take too long. You know what I mean? So we have dirt bikes to do all that.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. So a 6-man team,
that runway has to be super. Yeah.
Depending on what the time mac is, you know what I mean, how long it's going to take. A 6-man team, you could get down there, clear an airfield, make sure it's good for bringing airplanes, landing airplanes, do air traffic control, provide security around, taxi. You could do that all with a 6-man combat control team. You know what I mean? Or it could be one controller attached to a SEAL team or ODA calling airstrikes.
Wow, that's really awesome, dude. I mean, it's just that's amazing. It's just another world that, you're a unicorn.
Yeah.
And, when you get to talk to a unicorn, you kind of want to know what's the unicorn eating. And,
yeah.
And how much weight do you put in your rucksack when you train yourself? Do you go the full weight, or you just skimp it? That kind of thing. It's
we definitely, in training.
But you guys go the full weight.
Yeah, well, in training, we definitely had to carry a lot of weight because we are always carrying more gear than everybody else. We like to say, you know what I mean? We're carrying tons of radios, we have a Golf 117 on us, and that carries 4 different radios, mags, weapons, everything we need to be able to set up an airfield too. Sometimes those extra lights and all this crazy weird stuff that we need to.
No kidding.
Not just our combat load. You know what I mean? So that we always think about, we need to carry more than everybody else when we're in training. So when we get there and do the job, we can actually function.
I bet those are some cool lights. Those are some cool portable lights, bro. I'd love those for some airsoft war games out in the desert. It's there's some lights right there, dude. Those are probably small and compact and easy to portable.
You'd think that. I feel like the lights we always have are big. I don't know. You're why can't you make these things smaller? When you say that now, they are probably small and little compared to what other people have. But you're breaking on these lights are so big. I don't know why we can't find any smaller lights right in the middle. You want everything to be smaller and come back by the time you know what I mean. You're gonna use that stuff. So
you're just throwing discs out and they just autonomously land at where you need them to. That'd be great. Just send out the drones with lights and land them along the runway.
Why can't I just go to an area, take a drone, push a button, all the drones fly up, they land, and they mark the aircraft, they mark the airfield, then I'm just good to go, and I go clear to land. That's how easy it was.
That's what I'm saying. Because that would be a lot of.
I don't need a whole team of people to go out there and put the stuff down everywhere.
Right, and if a drone got shot down, you would know they're coming from over there, and it wasn't a person.
I'm telling you, I think we're onto something.
That's what's up. Drones are a good feature.
Building equipment contracts with the military.
We'll just call it my little pony. They'll never know Mattel made some 16s. No one will ever figure it out. No one will ever know. No one will ever know. We'll make little dinosaurs. Well, Connor, I just want to say it's been a real pleasure to have you on, and I know there's so much more that we could talk about. And you're going on the Contender. Is there a date and time when we can tune in for that? Do you know that yet?
Yep, I will be fighting August 2nd in Las Vegas on Tuesday night. So, it's not a lot of people like throw people off. Oh, was Connor fighting on a Saturday? Usually they are Saturday. It's a Tuesday night. So the Contender Series, for those people that don't know, it's not the UFC yet, but Dana White will be there. It's called Dana White's Contender Series. He's the president owner of the UFC, and if he's there, he's there to give out contracts. So usually they only have 4 fights in the night. Not a lot of fans. There's a couple fans around. There's not a lot though, and it's like a job interview. The way I like to think about it, it's like you're going in there. It's still going to be.
It's like the scouts. Yep.
Exactly. It's just still going to be streamed.
Coming to watch it. Yep.
And I'm fighting to put on a show for a contract to be in the UFC. So I'm excited. It's gonna be another one of my teammates, Billy Goff, not teammates, but a guy from New England who trains. He's gonna be fighting in the same night as me, so it's pretty cool to represent somebody from the local area. But
Massachusetts, New England.
Yeah, exactly. I love it, man. It's super. I love this sport. I'm actually getting to do. My dreams are coming true. I really feel like that, and I'm gonna go out there and put on a show for everybody. I got a lot in the bag that people haven't seen yet, so I train with the best, and I'm gonna go out there and put on a show for everybody.
That's right. And if I'm guessing, you're in like the 145 weight class. Is that right?
Yep.
What's your weight class?
Yeah, featherweight division. So it's a stacked division in the UFC. So I got a lot of work to do once I get there. You have Max Holloway, Brian Ortega.
Yeah, there's a lot of
big names.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of 145s.
Yep.
A lot of 145s. There's a lot of 145s.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. My faith is on you though. You're the controller, bro, and I believe in you. I've stood next to you shoulder to shoulder, no matter if you're 5'8" and I'm 6'5". It don't matter. Shoulder to shoulder, eye to eye, bro. So, you say what you are. I say I'm too tall. You say you're 5'8", you're not tall enough. Bro, you're doing it, okay? So you're perfect to us, and I just want to say thanks for being a part of the SOFREP family, the SOFREP Mafia, and if you're ever looking for someone to help sponsor you out there, I'm sure that SOFREP would love to hear this and maybe attach to you in some way or shape, and if there's ever what?
I know, go ahead. So I was gonna say, absolutely, man. Whenever SOFREP, from that time on when I was younger and I did that boxing event out in London, that kind of reinvigorated my whole passion for fighting a little bit. They just kind of brought me back. So I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for SOFREP. I think in a lot of ways, we were talking about that earlier. You meet some people and you didn't know how that kind of changed the trajectory of your life right then. And I think SOFREP was one of those people that did that. Yep. That group, that organization did that for me. So thank you guys for everything that you guys done for me to this point, and I'm gonna keep on representing, forever, man.
And I agree, and I love it. I love it. Now listen, Connor, one more thing. I'm gonna have to just be selfish. I know you got a lot of friends and family, but there's just one rad in your life, and that's me. And if for some reason or some way or shape, there's a fight, and you can sit me at your table, I will cheer you on, bro, and I will be there for you. And if you can get me into one of these big boy fights, that you just make sure you put Rad on that list, and I will show up. I promise, dude. And we'll do more of these together, and we can talk spec ops. We could talk MMA. We could talk, endurance and mental toughness, because you're a great dude, and I just want you to stay on the right path and just keep it up. And I'm gonna go ahead and just close out the show right now, Connor, because we've had a great segment. And for those of you, yeah, you're very welcome. And those of you that have been listening, it's Connor the Controller Matthews. You go to controllermma.com to help him get his merch sold so that he can get money to go and do these events and travel. We're going to watch you on August 2nd on the Contender, and we're going to be rooting for you in Las Vegas. And, do you have anything to close out with, bro?
Nothing off the top of my head. That's why you guys appreciate everything, and happy Memorial Day to everybody everybody out there who sacrificed their lives and are family members of those people. My prayers and thoughts go to you. And it's a hard weekend for some of us. It's a fun weekend because everybody's out barbecuing, but it does bring back a lot of memories. So to all those who died, who came before me, dedicated to this dedicating my next fight to my 3 friends who died: George Hernandez, Dylan Elgin, and Cole Condit. 3 combat controllers that died that I went through training with. So, part of what I'm doing right now is representing what they did and keeping their memories alive. So there's that.
I love that. And we will keep their memories alive too. We'll write about them in the article below the post of this video, just to keep their name on the internet as well, posthumously. Okay. And so I just want you to know, I appreciate you. Yeah. You keep flexing that Massachusetts. I'm going to start getting motivated by you to go work out myself. Okay. And, and I just want to say thank you for listening to SOFREP Radio, this episode with Connor, the Controller Matthews. My name is Rad, and I'm going to say peace.